It has been the summer of Shai, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Oklahoma City Thunder, winning the NBA championship and winning many managers' leagues. Does he go number one this year? Or do we go back to the injured Victor Wembanyama, the consensus number one from last year? Or the old tried and true favorite, Nikola Jokic? Who do you take at one? Well, I'm going to start off with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm going to focus on building up points, assists, and steals in this pick for one. If you're going with your current hot guy, which is SGA, ESPYs, look and drip, this is the pod for you. This is the one we're going to get to. I have Steve St-Pierre from Menace Podmen jumping in this one with me. We've got a mock draft right here. Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Steve St-Pierre from Menace Podmen. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, dude. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for just now being on my show. So look forward to seeing that. And dude, I'm totally with you on SGA. I have him number one. I just think we talked about it on my show. There's going to be a huge premium on guards this year. Obviously, he's the champion. He was the number one guy, and I think it's a great pick. So.
And we've got 42nd picks, and I'll put you at 12 because we're also going to focus on the art of the turn. So I'm going to take SGA straight off the rip, number one. Antec has been added up on this one. So what we're looking at today, not only is building that SGA build out with a bit of hype players and seeing where a lot of these consensus dudes fall for this year, man, we want to get that turn right because we spoke about on your podcast how with the third round reversals, it changes the game a little bit. But in category leagues, you want to lock down because it's like 20-something picks before you come back around. You want to lock down what you want to lock down each and every single time. And that, for me, is key. Late first rounders for you, who are you hoping falls to you in a world where there's Jaren Jackson Jr.'s in the first round injured to start the season? Jason Tatum out for the year. Who are you going to target there?
I love Tyrese Maxey. He's one of my favorite late first round targets. And again, just putting the premium on the guards. Steph Curry, if he's healthy coming into the season, I talked about it on Kingy's show recently with him. He's another guy that I really like. He was great last season, 9th per game in 9-cat, still doing his thing. It hasn't slowed a bit. So those are two guys I would love to get, late in the first round here, early second round if they fall.
And big shout out to next on the board, Matt Carmody, long time. And this is a big pick. This was a massive one. I know he was number 2. I think Antec has gone in. There's a lot of hype on. There he is, Victor Wembanyama. Antec going into auto drama. Antec, come on now. Victor Wembanyama falling to 4th, which is absolutely huge. Our boy, shout out Pat Mamba, drafting here. Pat's already starting to do like a little bit of a where we go, which throws this out. When you come to these back end with the premium on guards, we spoke about it in your podcast. We spoke about Cade Cunningham didn't finish inside the top 24 last year. Let's say 12 teams like this one is. He fell just outside. You can already see here in the pre-draft rankings, the Cade Cunningham has fallen is already at 7 for the year. So this is someone who he played 70 games last year. Very helpful for the Pistons, you would say. Obviously an asset across 3 categories, and this is a category leagues focus. You get your points, you get your assists, you get your rebounds. He drips in steals as well at 1 a game. He gets you some blocks being a guard, around almost 1 at 0.8. So he's one who can fill it out for you really well. Giannis, a big bump up into the first round, 6th pick overall. Are you curious by that one?
I am a little bit curious, but I'm not overly surprised. I think Giannis is a guy that will go in first rounds in most drafts, just from name alone. And then also, again, with all these superstar players being injured, it just brings all these other players up. So if you miss out on the Shays and the Jokic's and the Wembys, Giannis is a guy that you can take and kind of build around. So again, you've got to hope that he stays healthy. And you do have to kind of cater your build around him. But Giannis is definitely a guy that you can start your draft with and do something with in terms of a build. It's not the direction that I would go in.
I love that in terms of a build. In terms of a build, you can do this. Well, it's almost like telegraphing. And again, we're talking about categories. So this is where my boy Robert Marks, shout out Believe, Robin does the thing where he focuses on points leagues a lot. And this is where
Yeah.
Giannis gets a bump in points leagues because he just does
No question.
so much stuff.
Yep.
In category leagues, Giannis can also be detrimental, especially if you don't draft and ride it. It almost telegraphs from your very first pick, hey, I am punting free throw percentage. I am punting turnovers. And so you know that you're going to have to battle around that way to get one. Shout out to Chad Simpson right there from Old Man Squad. Chad in there taking Jaren Jackson Jr. injured to start the season, but he'll be returning value later on in a brand new revamped Memphis Grizzlies. So for me, you've started to get your guy with Tyrese Halliburton. He's going to be out if he gets into auto draft, man. He's out, and I don't even care if you're not going to be there for it. You're done. If Tatum's out, you're done. But these are guys you can never expect. So we have to be like, oh, good for you, and then they'll come back on around.
I'm a little bummed that Fantrax hasn't updated their pre-rankings yet. I know it's still early in the offseason. Yeah. I know we're drafting insanely early right now, but
sickos, we're fantasy sickos. It's stupid.
And you would think that there's a sicko or two at Fantrax that would jump in there and take some of those injured guys, bump them way down, if not completely take them out of the rankings. But it is what it is.
I know that they would. I was talking to someone at Fantrax the other day. I won't say names, but wait until you see what they're going to do. They may even be removing them completely from the draft pool for the first, I think, 2 weeks. There was talk that they would be just removed down to such an extent you would have to change, like down to like the last players on the tier list, just to help managers out so they don't make the mistake of going into auto draft mode. Even with, hey, they may return this X amount of value. Completely removed. And there you go. Hey, Shez, late to the party, better get on. Tatum going out, which is a traditional pick, you would say, at the end there. But now we live and we got to get to it.
Yep.
You got two more. I got Kelvin. We spoke about it. And that was not an auto draft pick. That was him thinking, like, who am I going to take? 10th pick overall.
Yep.
This is going to happen, isn't it?
It sure is. Yeah, we talked about it on my show. And it's definitely a thing. He's a hot name right now. He's popular. Someone who's not popular at all, who's fallen to me here, is Anthony Davis. I cannot pass him up. I'm taking him.
I can't believe you're picking up AD
at 12.
I
didn't realize that I was on the turn. So
you're
cool.
on the turn.
I'm going to go ahead and pair him with Tyrese Maxey.
There you go. So you got this is the great thing about the turn. If people fall to you, you get a chance. Now, this is where third round reversal kicks in an interesting way, because at the end of the next round, if you're in a third round reversal league, which is becoming increasingly popular, it's going to come back to you in only 12 picks instead of 20, like 3 picks, which is so good. Yeah, thank you. But then again, we can't expect on draft day guys like Jason Tatum here or Tyrese Halliburton to be taken out of the queue. This is auto draft, and this is where it's going to kook people. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a potential for some, but this is you're pairing these guys up really nicely. Kevin Durant now from Money Murray, he's kicking in there really easily. Still going to return some value, obviously being in the second round this year. New digs in Houston. What do you think of the outlook in Houston for KD?
I think it's kind of what it's been as far as with him, if he's healthy. We know what he can do. We know what he will do. It's just a matter of, can he continue to stay on the court? And, he is another year older now. It is a new team, so it's going to be a little bit of a transition period. But, he's joined so many different teams now, and we've seen he just seamlessly gets out there. If he's on the court, he's going to put up numbers, especially in 9-cat. I love him. I think he's an ideal second round pick in 9-cat.
Yep.
So great.
Yeah, 100%. This is now Shez is going in. This is where a couple of the auto pick guys who haven't been here have kicked in. Yeah. Halliburton out the window. That's great. Good. James is an interesting one because this is a year for LeBron James where he almost wants to play his way into eligibility or wherever he's going to live. So I love that he's going in these areas, but this is expected to be too high in a category league for the guy to be locking in and getting ready to go. Chad is on the block. Here's thinking about how to pair this because guys are falling straight away. Big bump boys on the board that I'm looking at to fall to me. I don't like to queue too heavy on this one because I want to see where I can go. Now, you mentioned Don Mitchell falling. We noticed there's a premium on guards with an early season bump. I am going to put him into my queue straight away. So I'm going to look here. I'm also thinking about doing a bit of a cheeky pairing with Jalen Williams. I am thinking of putting him in really early on. Other guys who I might look at getting with those big boy numbers from is someone like Domantas Sabonis. Trae Young could have a blockbuster year. I'm thinking about getting another guard here. I'm going to need to get my center minutes up, and I'm also looking to focus on steals because this is something that Shai does. Chad, Bam Adebayo, Jaren Jackson Jr. He's bumped in. We know Bam is going to be going on boards very early this season. Derek White, Citrus, love that.
Yeah. I'm stunned that Curry's still on the board, though.
I'm stunned too.
I almost took him instead of Maxey. So,
I'm praying that Steph Curry's there. I don't think it's going to happen. I can't look. He's the next up. Someone's going to slip into auto draft.
There's no way he falls to you. I mean, if he does,
I am going to cue it, and I am going to break my heart a little bit, knowing that I am completely. I am ready to be hurt again. Exactly by this one right here, and
whoever gets him, wow, he's still going. Whoever gets him, going to be a great.
There you go. That's where he falls off. And again, this is where Trae Young off the board. Pat's going to take him. I know Pat. Shout out to the Believe team in Pat Mumba there. And again, if you want to be a VIP like our boy Pat, and you can get
Mamba mode
all the time. He tried to join the draft twice today. I'm not even going to lie. That's how much he loves fantasy. He's like, "Can I join?" I'm like, "No, you're already in, Pat." In the group chat, I'm like, "You're in, Pat. I have something very important for you. You got to support the channel and up your game for just 27 cents a day. It's not even a cup. It's not even like a sip of coffee. That's that cheap. You can become an MVP community member for priority responses, exclusive MVP Discord access, and a private podcast that answers all your questions weekly right here for Believe. To join, just visit BelieveInFantasy.com. Make sure you jump into that after this draft. Check it out and get all the good work from the Believe Network. Guys who I loved and who are going, and here my queue is going. Booker out, Sabonis out, Curry out, Harden off the board. Please go and take into that mode and give me one of my guys. Now, this puts me in a bit of a spot because I'm going to probably look at my forward spot right here. And I'm going to try and get a nice ball forward. Now, I do think there's going to be a big bump on Pascal Siakam. We spoke about that this year with Miles Turner being out. He's played well. I think Orlando with Desi Bain is going to have such. There you go, Jalen Williams. Now, look, this is telegraphing it very early, but I'm going to be able to lock down some points, some assists, some steals, an incredibly high free throw percentage. Free throw merchant time. This is it. Don Mitchell. Paired up right there. I can't go past that. Now, Dyson Daniels is in my queue. I don't want to, but I do want to get a center or a big man. I'm going to lean into this. I'm going to get up those defensive numbers, almost to steal a game last year with Evan Mobley. If I go back to my flex spot overall and I see this, I'm looking for steals guys like Danson, Thibault. All these guys are later in drafts. If I'm going in here now into the center spot, I'm going to lock down. Let's go by rank. I'm going to drop in Evan Mobley here. There we go. Yeah. I know I'm counting down. I'm going to drop in Mobley here. This is where he settled last season. I see a similar form this season. It bumps up my field goal percentage. He also has a good free throw percentage. So he's a big who's not going to quote unquote hurt me. And he has dual position eligibility. Now, again, in category leagues, unlike points leagues, you just got to fill the spots in your points leagues. Category leagues, you need to be able to judge this by dual positional three. My first two guys are locked in a guard spot. There is no forward eligibility there. So I'm now knowing that when I'm drafting guards later on, I'm going to have to look at guards with auto eligibility. Scotty Barnes flying off, OG Anunoby jumping off the board here in New York. So you can see some of the next guards off the board by ranking already on Fantrax, Pierre. We've got Tyler Hero, pure guard. And you might be looking at him at the end of this round and be like, yeah, okay, I can see this for Tyler Hero.
Yeah, with Miami, he's definitely going to be, the number one guy there. So, yeah, it's a solid pick. Hey, what happened to our third round reversal? Are we not doing that, I guess?
No. That's why we've got to be conscious of it this year because you got to know your league settings.
You got to know if you're doing it or not. You got to know if you're doing it or not. I love the way you've started your draft. If I had the number one pick, I would have done the exact same thing. First pick, your second pick going Donnie Mitch, and that third pick pairing him up with his Cavs teammate there with Mobley. You've got the two guards, like you said. You've got the big man. That's a fantastic start to your team, to your draft.
Yeah, you too, man. I mean, you're getting Davis to fall to 12. Because, here we go. So guys I know these guys.
Got some good guys coming up here.
Tyler Hero, Jalen Johnson, Austin Reeves flying off the board, a bit of a bump. Asar Amin Thompson, Alperen Şengün, and Jalen Green. A new lease in life in Phoenix. People are going to be high on him in draft day. People are ranking him super high.
Yeah, that might be a little too high. Yeah, I think
too high for me.
Has him too high right now. There goes Siakam. So I'm up here. I think what I'm going to do first is take your boy Dyson Daniels.
Now, does he return the same amount of faith? Now, this is a great guard pick, a guard and forward eligibility. Yeah. Davis forward center eligibility. We love that to start off.
Yeah, for sure. It kind of is what it is. I don't know that he's going to get the same kind of value, but he's a good player. Can fill in, played multiple positions,
Yep,
does a little bit of everything. He's obviously fantastic defensively.
100%.
I've got a second pick here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and go for a little upside here. I think I'm going to go with Chet Holmgren.
Oh, I love that for you. He was, and this is a guy who I thought about flirting with at the beginning of the third round. I'm like, what do I need? Rebounds, points, and block shots. Blocks are not going to fall into my thing. I know I can get some from Mobley, but I'm not going to be super competitive. And we know with statistical scarcity, blocks are one of the hardest things to get. Oh, now here we go. Cooper Flag has just flown off here. It's the fourth round, the fifth pick. Cooper Flag has just gone off the board. Transactions.
This is where he's going to go. Yeah, this is where he's going to go up until preseason, until we see how he looks with that team and with some of those veteran guys. Obviously, we got to see him a tiny bit in summer league. He obviously looked good. He looked great last year in college, so we know he's got a ton of potential. But how is he going to do with those other guys? It does help him right now that there's no Kyrie Irving in there.
Yep.
So he'll have a lot of usage. They took him number one for a reason, and he's got all kinds of potential. I think this is probably where he's going to go.
Oh, Isaiah.
There goes Giddey.
Oh, I thought Giddey was going to fall to me. I had him in my queue, but that hurt me. Turner was in my queue. That just hurt me.
Yeah, Turner's my guy. It was hard passing up on him. I almost took him over Chet.
Jamal Murray. This is where it gets really tight. This is where these reversals can really start. Oh, you know what? Am I going to mess around a little bit here? Am I going to drop Jarrett Allen and get a bunch of Cavs again?
That's a gutsy move, but I'll tell you what, centers are drying up, and he's one of the best still on the board.
Yeah,
I would push more, maybe like a Duren.
Mr. Agenda for being from Detroit.
And for all the reasons that we just discussed on my show.
I'm going to take Jarrett. I'm going to double down on that.
I like it.
I'm going to double down. But what I'm going to need though is a guard right now, and I'm going to need a guard. I'm going to need a guard with points and steals because I'm getting my points. I drafted him, do I not? Oh.
Yeah, that's a gutsy move taking three guys on the same team this early. But in terms of fit and in terms of stats and in terms of needs, can't argue it because, you're right. All those centers that we've named off are going to be gone by the time you pick again. So you've got to get centers and guards early and often. And, Allen was one of the best on the board.
He might hurt me a little bit, but I am really going to, I really want to get some defense here. I'm going to bring in Franz Wagner. I'm going to skip past Powell.
That's a solid pick. Get yourself a solid forward, versatile. Man, you've got a really good lineup. I like it.
And this is the thing that I'm being conscious of at the same time. Right now, I need to start building flexibility. So this is one of the big. Oh, Danny Advia going off. I like that pick for now. This is the injured guys list. Darius Garland. Now people are like, you know what? I can wear it for a couple bit. I can stash him and IR. I can then jump back into the board and pick somebody up. Darius Garland in the 5th round pick straight away. This is where it's going to start to look come draft day, possibly for Garland in the 5th to 6th round. Again, buyer beware for the first couple. You want to get your foundation, and then you want to put into there. Now, this is where I wanted to talk to. Now, I let Jalen Brunson go off the board because I already had a couple of elite guards. Yeah. But I loved what Brunson could do, but I needed points. I needed some threes because Mobley and Allen aren't going to be getting me threes. Shai, not going to be getting me a lot of threes. Don does get me some. So threes you can stream off the wire at any point in time. We know there are some guys late in drafts who can get them.
Correct.
And if we look through all flex players right now, we can see these guys on 3.9. Malik Beasley, not a factor. Guys like Brandon Miller. I hope you never say it out loud. You never say it out loud, but I'm going to say it out loud. I am hoping that Brandon Miller falls. Now, Sarr is a huge pick right here. Jaden McDaniels coming in, Banchero going off. Sarr in the 5th round. I know Chad put him in his queue. He messaged me saying that he was high on that one. We're looking for a big season from him. Lopez going off now, the backup who went the pick before for Zubac. Jordan Poole. This is an interesting one. In New Orleans, could be a little bit of value this season in new digs. What do you think of Poole?
I think in the short term with DeJounte Murray out, he could have a little bit more value, but I've never been a huge fan of Poole and 9-cat. So to me, he's more of a points leagues guy, and looks like I'm up here.
Can I just say the pick before that? You have a think on your pick for 1 second, brother, because I just want to point this guy out. Fred VanVleet Maligned last year. I was a lot higher on him. He finished 74th last season. He was in the third round pick for me. He didn't return at 74th. A lot of us analysts were wrong on Fred, but picking him up now in 5, it's good. And you've taken Kawhi. That's a really good spot.
Yeah.
That's a really good spot for you. Really blocking down with him and Holmgren and Davis. Some defensive prowess and some points right there as well.
Yep, for sure. And going back to Van Vliet, he's always been a favorite of mine. He's a guy that like I usually get in all my drafts. I was taking him a ton last season in mocks, but I never actually wound up with him on any of my teams, which was surprising. But yeah, a down year. I think he can bounce back. We'll see. And I'm going to stick with Duren here. I'm going to stick with my own advice and go with my guy, kind of a homer pick. But again, get those guards and centers early and often. I probably could have looked at another guard, but a lot of them are off the board right now anyways. So, and these centers are going to start flying here. Another guy I was looking at was Joel Embiid, who obviously has a ton of baggage, ton of risk. But at this stage, 6th round, this is kind of the territory for me where you just take that upside in per game talent and you just kind of roll the dice and you just kind of live with whatever happens, If you're in leagues that you've got multiple IL spots, like you were saying before, you have the ability to stash these guys a little bit or kind of like, almost anticipate that they're going to go down with injuries and then you slot them into those IL spots and you make moves. If you're in leagues where you don't have that kind of freedom and flexibility, if you've got limited IL spots, if you've got limited transactions that you can make, then you probably don't take those chances quite this early. But,
well, this is the chance right here as well. Kyrie Irving going off the board to Money Murray in draft right now, stashing him in that IR spot. Then guys who are active, Kobe White, Lillard's out, auto draft by Shez right there. But McCollum, interesting, the switch from Poole to McCollum round for round is like, oh, he's gone. Well, he's in Washington now. He can do similar things. So they're going to go around the end of the 5th, beginning of the 6th round. Now, Trey Murphy was in my queue. He's out. Zach LaVine was an option for me. Murphy was in my
Murphy's a really good pick. If he's healthy, I mean, we saw what he did last season. It's incredible. 100%. And again, with no Murray right now, he'll have that much more usage. So
Kessler going, Michael Porter Jr. I love that. I'm starting to be pigeonholed a little bit here by these guys who have no dual flexibility. Now you go back to the rankings, guys who are on the board right now. We saw down there, we've got Miles Bridges, Mikal Bridges, who I actually don't think is a bad pick, probably for me right around here. We've got DeMar DeRozan, only a forward. Onyeka Okongwu, obviously being hampered a little bit. Draymond Green, no points here. Now we're coming up around your guy houses Harris time. Julius Randle improved. Stephen Castle. Shaedon Sharpe is one I'm really curious of. This season in Portland, I think he can do some things. Now it's way too early to do him, but I am going to drop Shaedon Sharpe into there goes DeRozan. So I'm looking now to probably get some assists and some steals and then that one here. Now, Mikal Bridges falling into this zone for me in the 70s, I think is probably a bit of a safer pick, but there's also guys like Ja Morant who are still on the board. So I'm going to go Ja Morant right here.
I would take him, because the point guards are running real thin here. I think
and then I'm going to have to back that up. I've got the Shaedon Sharpe gamble, but I'm going to go safe as houses for Bridges. Hope he can get some defensive prowess. He is, again, dual eligible as well, which I need. I really need that because right now my forward spot, if I'm looking at the top ranked guys, I've got him and Timoni Kamara, who I love. Christian Braun has that flexibility. I think he's hampered by Bruce's Brown return a little bit this season. Devin Vassell has some upside. Yeah, so I'm gonna take him straight away. Ding dong ding. And I'm going to take Mikal Bridges right here. Just getting in there. Khalil Ware, that's another great pick from Antec. I love him. This is one of the upside guys we're talking about. 7th round, 2nd pick overall. We are into the 75 range, and that's where Khalil Ware's upside. Guys like Zion Williams, Timoni Kamara picking steals off the board. This is where the forwards start to fly. If you haven't seen them go off the board yet, this is those guys. The specialists, you could say, start to come in. So people are like, oh, what do I need? What do I need? Well, I need steals. So they're going to sort by this, knowing that Thibauld's not going to get minutes. Notice there's a bit of a handcuff onto Herbie Jones. You look at Herbie Jones right here. He has been extended 3 years, $68 million. He's going to be back. So Herb Jones, that's a pick. Paul George, a little bit of an interesting buyer beware here. Taylor Hendricks. We start to look here. Maybe you want to focus on blocks. You start to look at guys like Peyton Watson, Tyler Hendricks. These are gone. These things are gone in the flex spot. Daniel Gafford, Donovan Clingan is a breakout mode star for me this season in Portland. And if you're not going to take him, if he falls back to me, I'm going to be looking at him very, very closely in here. And I'm also going to look at guys later down in drafts for that center spot. Again, no dual eligibility for guys like Ajax. The interesting one who hasn't gone off the board yet. And again, we shouldn't say names. We shouldn't say names early. But Kristaps Porzingis.
I want to say names. So I've got a bunch,
say names?
guys.
Say it.
Yeah. Jimmy Butler, Cam Johnson, Paul George you mentioned, and Embiid's still there. Porzingis, as you said. You mentioned Brandon Miller. He's still there.
Yep.
Man, so many choices here. I am going to go with, I think this is, I don't think Jimmy Butler should fall any further than this. He shouldn't fall any further than this. You know, I know he's older and, you know, he's going to be load managed and all that stuff, but he's just way too good. And again, Golden State picked him up for a reason. He's happy now. He got his contract. I'm taking him here at the end of the 7th. And now the big question, do I chance it with an Embiid? I think what I'm going to do instead is go ahead and stash DeJounte Murray and get another guard here because, again, putting the premium on those guards, there aren't many options left already. So,
and you can wear that IR, but maybe you take 1 loss or 2 losses. And again, in category leagues, you need to know your settings. Are you in one that's a 1-win, 1-share week? And by that, I mean over the course of the 20 weeks of your season, if you win the categories against your opponent, do you get marked as 1 win? So you're playing to win as many weeks by 5-4, 6-3 as humanly possible.
That's great.
Conversely, are you in a category league where you have to accumulate wins? So do you need to try and win as many categories every single week to get yourself up the ladder and give yourself the best chance? You might, I've seen people get over 100 plus wins, 110 plus wins in these leagues compared to people who just make it into their playoffs and be like, I got there on 7 wins for the season. So this is what I know. Hey, look, Peyton Pritchard, one of the flyers for this season that we love.
I was eyeing him.
You were eyeing him. There you go. 8th round, 85th overall. Tobias Harris. There we go. The 80s, the magic 80s for him. There it is for Tobias Harris. Malik Monk. Topic. There we go. Topic. Quentin Grimes with Philadelphia. The Philadelphia conundrum continues. That's a bit of high. I've got a really nice cue because there's one other guy who I haven't mentioned here yet. And it's Lauri Markkanen. Now,
I was about to mention him too.
There you go. Forward eligible only. 4 from Grace last season. This is what happens in Utah in a tanking team. He was so far down, he didn't even make the top 200 players to finish the last 3 months of last season. There you go. Gobert, the next big center to go off the board.
If we were doing this on Yahoo right now, we would see a lot more position eligibility. But in any case, it's still a ton of versatility, a ton of depth and talent still on the board. I'm stunned that Cam Johnson has fallen this far.
He was one of my faves from last season, but I do think we see this year Brooklyn play better basketball. Michael Porter Jr. going off the board. And you know what I love about Cam? I love Cam Johnson. I'm going to put him in, but I'm also going to talk Cam Thomas. That was who was coming to mind. I'm going to put him in here because he's a really interesting pick in a team that you get some points. He got some steals. He started to develop a little bit more as a playmaker last season, averaging 3.8 assists a game. The 0.6 steals, neither here nor there. But the high free throw percentage really matches my build. There goes Brandon Miller and Shaden Sharp. Ooh.
I think it's too early for him personally.
I
wouldn't pass on the talent that's still on the board for a guy like him or Ivy, who just now went.
I'm going to have to go KP. This is a guy who we have seen.
For sure. No brainer.
Kristaps Porzingis.
End of the 8th round. That's insane.
96. That is huge. I'm going to draft you into flex. And, I'm going to go Cam Johnson. But again, it does hurt me by way a little bit. It does hurt me here drafting Cam Johnson because, again, only forward eligibility. And I really wanted someone who was guard and forward eligible. I've got no one apart from Cam Thomas here. That really helps my points. But I do think the Cam Johnson is a great steal. I'm getting him a top 100 value. He is a top 100 player. I'm taking him at 97. And now it's back onto the 9th round right here. And Anthony Simons, again, guards, hopes. He's gonna be unleashed in Boston. And it's funny, Peyton Pritchard went off the board the round earlier. 12 picks almost to the mark, a whole round earlier. Peyton Pritchard wants to be the guy people want to pick up in Boston this year as a flyer.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of rumors too that Simons might get rerouted. So there is still a lot of time in the offseason. So we got to see what happens. But man, going back to Cam Johnson, I think that's incredible value for him. And I think he's got a great role in Denver. I think he's going to get a lot of open looks. I had Sloan Paiva on my show last week, and he and I talked about him. And yeah, we think it's a great fit. There goes Cam Thomas, who, like you said, he's a free agent right now. He's still technically unsigned, but if he does go back to Brooklyn, he's probably looking at a starting spot. And if he's healthy, he's probably looking at a similar role to what he had last year. So, which I think around this stage of the draft, that's a good spot for him. So
it is. Hey, Bilal Coulibaly, some upside there for Pat Mumba. And again, I think one of my draft strategies that I've getting into with this first pick as well is you've got to be open to the best player on the board that's falling to you. And you've been really good at this in the turn. So this is one of the arts of the turn. The art of the turn very much is best player left available. Set your queue, know who's around the place. You just did that and got end of the 7th round for Jimmy Butler, a top 30 player.
There are too many guys falling right now, and it's strictly just because of the rankings. Like, people are forgetting about people.
Yep.
And Markkanen's a big one. I've got him queued up.
Oh, of course you do. Of course you do.
But man, honestly, Paul. I mean, at this stage, Paul George. I mean, I know. Yep. Joel Embiid. I know they're all injury risks, but I mean, we're talking end of the 9th round. This is insane. Mark Williams.
Don't take him. Don't take him because we don't know what the update is. I'm gonna put Embiid in my queue and see if there is some just range that he is so buyer beware. We are so risk adverse that people aren't queuing this up. Now I know there's some auto draft picks in here. But there are also dudes I know like Chad who was like, man, I've set my queue and I'm in there. Paps done the same thing. So I know that there's dudes who put them in. Guys like Santi Aldama, a bigger role for him. He's gone off the board. PJ Washington, I love that. These are the guys who are after pick 100. So after pick 100, we've seen Matty Carmody. Big shout out to my guy, Matt Carmody again. Cam Thomas. We've seen Coulibaly, the East Coast cooler. RJ Barrett, points guy. Where can I get 20 points a game? RJ Barrett, bang, he's there. We've got Keegan Murray falling in draft. Collier, really great pickup last year. Really steals, assists. More of a role, more room to grow in Utah. Chris Paul, back with the Clippers, never falls outside the top 100 in value in category leagues. He doesn't get the shiny points, but he gets minutes, minimal turnovers, great assists, gets some steals, good percentages. That's CP3. Do you need blocks and rebounds? Let me bring in PJ Washington, who I think really falls this year with the presence of Cooper. Aldama, there you go. You picked up. Oh, you took Embiid. Okay,
I couldn't pass him up. I mean, at this point, he's just too good. I don't want anybody else taking him. I'll take him, and I'll live with whatever happens. If he goes down the first day of the regular season, at the end of the 9th round, I'll take that chance. And then I was very tempted to take Markkanen. I think this is way too far for him to be falling, and I know he's an injury risk too. And I know he's a
shutdown risk and other risks,
but we're talking the beginning of the
maybe getting
round.
Maybe he goes back into the military risk. I don't know, man. There's just so much
risk. It doesn't matter at this point. You just take these guys. You don't overthink it. But I took Emmanuel quickly because again, I need that guard depth. Guards are getting very picked over here, so I wanted to make sure I got one. But and so much talent still on the board.
Well, the biggest talent that I just see right here is Isaiah Hartenstein. I absolutely love this pick of Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yep.
Just falling outside. He was one of the last, I guess you could say, great big centers. And there you go. You have to look at these
I mentioned
guys.
Mark Williams too. Same with him. I think, Phoenix traded for him for a reason. I think if he's healthy, I mean, we saw when the Lakers trade got rescinded, he went back to Charlotte and he played well. So, if he's healthy and on Phoenix, he's got a great opportunity. I think this is way too far for him to be falling. Like I said, Paul George, I know all the risk and everything, but he's just too good per game to be falling this far. It'll probably happen.
And there you go. Jalen Suggs, injury guy, falling right here. 115 for Jalen Suggs. Hartenstein finished the last 3 months of last season as the 87th ranked player, falls to 110 right here, around 110 in the draft. That's 2 rounds of value you can eke out in a category league situation, which I really love. Guys who are still on the board who I'm curious, I'm kind of keen on Devin Vassell. I'm the dual eligibility, a bit more of a role. There's talk of him being traded. He'll be an asset wherever he goes. Another asset here, Nick Claxton. Nick Claxton is still on the board for those who are looking for a center. This is, I think, far too
There are a lot of good centers still on the board. DeAndre Ayton. I mean, we know the deal with him too. He's a risk, but again, Lakers.
Love that. Now
I love Tari Eason. He's my guy. I am a little nervous with Houston's depth in the front court, but Yeah, we know the deal with Easton. Whenever he does play and has a consistent role, we know what he can do in 9.
You mentioned
it. Still there.
The marketing's still there, but also Paul George. So I'm just going to risky business this. At pick 120, Lowry Markkinen.
There is no risk at that point. That's a
120.
no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. You just take him and whatever happens.
Paul George.
Yep. Genius.
Get some value and then throw it. Like that is these are first. I am so pigeonholed though with my flexibility. I'm going to have to focus on my last 3 picks.
It doesn't matter, man. You figure it out. It's all good. You
figure it out. This is the thing, man. You figure it out. This is what category leagues are about. This is what drafting is all about. The people who fall and where you can get about it. So again, don't forget, if you want that intel, this is what you need to do. You need to support the channel and up your game. It's cheap, like just 27 cents a day. Become an MVP community member in the Discord. Jump on down that. You get like a whole bunch of start priority responses. There's an MVP chat, which is awesome. And there's a weekly podcast just for you, question and answers. You've got to get onto that one. Just visit Believe, BLEAV, in fantasy.com and get yourself into that. Be an MVP with your ADP values. Does that make sense? It does to me. Like, just get in there. Get it out. Clay Thompson going. Keon Johnson in Brooklyn. Great. You mentioned him. Matty Comedy. Love that from Comedy. Absolutely love that from him. Mark Williams in Phoenix, a new home in the 11th round. Pick 124. That's some good pickings, man.
For sure. Can't beat it. Yeah, still pretty good value. But we are starting to get pretty deep here. This is definitely this is the territory now where you start aiming for upside. You take some flyers. If there's somebody you like, just grab them.
Now I'm putting VJ Edgecombe in there. I'm putting Edgecombe in my queue towards the end of the back because
nice little handcuff for you with PG.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So we're going to talk about handcuffing right now. Don't get too kinky with it. You know what I mean? Or you can just do you. Just whatever you're into. It's fine. Like I'm not judging. It's we're a safe space. Unbelief. You've got the handcuff there of Joel Embiid. You're going to look like guys like Boner or someone like that. Maybe later in your draft to pick up that that depth right there. Like if he's still sitting there, we saw him just rack up the stats.
Here's my thing with handcuffing. If there are other players at that position for other teams, I'd rather take those guys. But it all depends, And if you've got a final pick and you're kind of struggling on who you should take, just double check your team and see if there's an injury guy on there that you can maybe back him up with. It doesn't hurt. And you can always.
Now here we go. It's run up to. Oh, geez, that ran into you really, really quickly after Mark Williams. Deshaun George off the board. Dennis Schroeder now going off around 125. Nick Claxton, Malawach, Phoenix starting center, quite possibly getting the rookie in there. That's good value around here because again, around the third last pick, you pick him up. Like there's 4 picks after this, 14 rounds. We see where we go. Beasley in Detroit auto pick. That's a hang. Like that's just like we're gonna see where that goes. Keon Ellis, John Collins in LA. 4 from Grace, a top 50 player last year in fantasy, now has gone to 131 because what does he do? But he is almost an intriguing handcuff to Kawhi Leonard. Much maligned with injuries, put to the side. I love that from you, DeAndre Ayton.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of him, but at this stage of the draft, I just can't pass on it. And I've taken a lot of bigs. I probably don't need any more. I'm very high on Isaiah Jackson, as I just mentioned on my show with you. It's very tempting to take him. But I'm going to go ahead and take another guard here. I'm going to go ahead and take Drew Holiday. Kind of a boring pick, but I think he's going to be safe. I took him in a recent mock draft with Kingy, and I mentioned on his show. I think Drew Holiday, as long as he's with Portland, I think he will start. I think he'll play a prominent role with them. And I think he'll continue to do the things that he's done in his career. He'll be a great two-way player. He's going to probably get a little load managed. But I still think, I think they picked him up for a reason. I think they're going to value his on-court time and experience with those other young guys on the Blazers. So I like
and talking about Blazers right there at 138, Donovan Clingan. We will not see this very often come close to the drafts. Donovan Clingan will be a top 100 pick. I'm certain
probably. We need to kind of see what's going to happen there. If Time Lord's healthy, it could be maybe a little bit of a timeshare. But yeah, certainly There are guys.
Yang. We got Hanson Yang in there showing out in summer league
For sure.
He's going to have to carve up some,
and a lot of hype around him too. So yeah,
Yep.
there are a lot of things to still kind of be figured out here with preseason and everything. But again, I just think a lot of these sites are going to update their rankings, and that's going to have a huge impact on ADPs and stuff, even in these early drafts that we're doing right now. So I think a lot of this right now is just based on the rankings.
Oh, 100%. And there's one there, Filipowski. I love that. One of the four, we're talking about value picks right now. Dylan Harper, another rookie going off the board right here. So here's the rookie starting to go around 12. Everyone's starting to be like, where's my rookie at? Where's my rookie at? I don't think I'm going to get a VJ Edgecombe if I wait. So my hand is on you will take him. You will take him. But I'm going to have to take VJ. I'm going to have to take here. I'm going to put him down in my flex spot. Oh, you know what? I can fill another guard spot with him right here. But he's going to be a guard. I think he's going to be made forward eligible, or in your leagues, he will be made forward eligible. Yeah. Someone I'm really curious here. I'm really curious about Yabusele in New York. I think he's going to get a lot of minutes and eat it up. I think he is someone who you can be able to get off the wire quite easily at the same time. I'm really curious into him, but I'm just looking to go around guys who are going to do a new fit. And I'm going to have to take Yabusele right here just to get that forward and center eligibility and lock it down. But I also like Colin Sexton.
I think Sexton's a better pick right here. I do think he's going to wind up starting for them. I mean, we do need to kind of wait and see. They have a lot of young guys, obviously, but I think right now, if I were to project a starting lineup for them, I think Sexton starts in the backcourt alongside LaMelo Ball, gives them that like veteran guy that can go in there and score. He's pretty consistent in that regard. There goes your boy Yabusele. So
Yabu Dabble Doo has gone.
I'm not as high on him. I think I
just think minutes wise, I think there's going to be an agenda in New York, and I'm really curious to see how it plays out now, where it's not going to be the Thibodeau minutes show, and they're going to be very conscious of resting guys.
They are
into the playoffs, like Cat, OG Anunoby. He can serve 2 masters. I think I'm not going to say he's top 120. But when I'm flirting with the 150 and Yabusele sitting there, I'm like, I'll give him a go. If it doesn't work, he's out. Such things like DeAndre Hunter, same deal. Yeah. Jalen Smith, same deal. Scoot Henderson, this is a great pickup from Chad right here. Nikhil Alexander-Walker in Atlanta. I love that. Harrison Barnes, Buddy Hield. Wow. Back to you for your second last and your last pick, and then we'll have a look at your team.
There's still so much talent on the board here. I mean, this is total like flyer sleeper territory.
This is huge.
I'm going to go ahead first and take Ace Bailey because he's my sleeper pick this year, if you want to call it that, for all the reasons that we mentioned before with Utah, just wide open right now with the moves they've made. I talked about him on Kingy's show as well. I think that they're going to cater to him. I think they're proving that they valued him, that they wanted him there, where there were all the reports and stuff about him not wanting to be there. They said, hey, listen, we're drafting you for a reason. We want you here. With this next pick, man, this is really tough. I think I'm going to go ahead and take another rookie flyer here. I'm going to go with my guy in Brooklyn.
The jeans. Yeah. The jeans. Yeah. Denim.
Exactly.
I call them the jeans.
Yeah, just having fun with this one. There's still a lot of good talent on the board.
Oh, my gosh. My Q is incredible. Ricochet, he was in my queue. He's gone up. I'm actually just loading my queue up. A bunch of guys who I'm just like, I can't believe they're still there, guys. Do you guys have? I can't believe it's not butter. Do you guys have that in America?
We do. Yeah.
There used to be an ad in the 90s where it was like Fabio, like I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah.
I'm almost like I can't believe he's still in my draft queue.
Exactly. There's still so many.
Bradley Beal.
Yep.
Bradley Beal.
I was looking at him. I mean,
there
he goes.
Oh my gosh. This is the curse. You just don't speak. It's like
this is all based on rankings. People are just overlooking these guys. They forgot about them.
Yep.
That's all it is, man.
This is where they've got to research. You got to do the research. You got to
do the mock set your
queue. Do the prep.
Yep. Go through, look at depth charts and just look through every team, look at all the names and be like, I can't forget that guy. Can't forget him. Yep. Just throw them in there. You can always throw them in your queue and then you can rearrange them in terms of priority and stuff, but just get them in the queue.
And we know the guys have done this as well because we're at pick 164 and the rankings here for Kyle Kuzma, 129, Pods, 130. These guys were here. Kevin Porter, Ty Jerome. We know people have queued up these picks. Con Knipple was one of the last ones I was looking at. Darn it, he's gone. I love Knipple. I was looking through him where these guys are ranked in the thousands on these leagues right now, and that's going to change really, really soon. We've got guys like even D'Angelo Russell in here. You mentioned him, Andrew Nemhard. I could pick up Nemhard for this and I have to pick up Nemhard.
I almost went Russell. I mean, he's going to presumably start in Dallas. Even if he doesn't, he's so good per game at this stage of the draft. You just take it, and whatever happens, happens. So
and this is it. I'm going to take that. We're going to wrap the draft right there and have a look at it. There it is.
Oh, man, I wanted to keep going.
Round of applause. Thank you very much to Antec, Pap, my boy Matty Comedy, Pat Mamba, Isaiah. He got tapped in. Big Citrus, Chad Simpson from Old Man Squad. Shez, Lord Kelvwanen, Money Murray, and you, of course. Let's have a look at your team. Take us through, Saint, to wrap us up. This is the art of picking at the turn. Best on board for both of us. Mine is the Summer of Shai build. So
I'm with you on that, like I said.
Yeah, that's my consensus. We know it's going to change come day, and I'm a big I like Jokic at one guy, so it's always good to do a fun Shai build. But take me through your team, man, from top down, pick down to the bottom.
Yeah, so Anthony Davis, I love him. 4th overall in 9 cap per game. We know about the injury risk, but I mean, to get him at 12, that's a no-brainer for me. Great way to start your team. And even on Fantrax, he's got forward center eligibility, so you can plug him in different spots. I already mentioned Tyrese Maxey. I love him. I love his upside. And again, with all the injury risk at the top of Philly's roster, that's just more usage and more production for him, assuming he's healthy. And I do think a lot of why he sat towards the end of the year was for tanking purposes.
100%.
So, yeah, I think he'll be good to go. He's young. He's on that max contract. And I think that's all intentional. I mentioned Dice Daniels already. I like his versatility. I know he's not, I'm taking him at his, ceiling here. Not a lot of upside at this point, but I don't care. I think if he does anything close to what he did a year ago, I'll take him there. He's a good fit for my roster. Can put him in different spots too, guard and forward. I went with Chet Holmgren in the 4th round. I love the upside. If he's healthy, he's a guy, he's still got a ton of room to grow. He could get more usage on that OKC team. Oftentimes with championship teams, they tend to kind of rest some of their top players at times, or just kind of look at ways to develop other players on their team. So I think Holmgren's a guy that could, improve more and more as we see here these next couple of years as he enters his prime. We talked about Kawhi Leonard, getting him at the end of the 5th round. I just think, again, some of these guys, and I know we're Old Man Squad, we got to represent in that regard, but I mean, all kidding aside, these guys are just too good per game to pass up any further in these drafts. So,
and that's where you made a great run of it. You got Kawhi there in the 5th. You got your homeboy Duran from your hometown. So you're mixing these veterans. Gunning Butler here at 7th round. You were laughing at that point in time.
Yeah, I sure was, because again, just Golden State got him. As long as he's healthy, he's going to far exceed this spot in terms of per game value. And again, it does depend on what kind of leagues you're in. If you've only got a couple of IL spots, you got to be a little bit more careful when you take these chances on these older players. But for me, I tend to play in leagues that have more IL spots and allow you more ability to take these risks and stash players, which coincidentally is what I'm doing with DeJounte Murray at the top of the 8th round there. And again, just wanted to get a good guard that I know when he is healthy, he can help add my depth there at those positions in the backcourt. So I was happy to get him there. Embiid again, we were laughing about it, but that's just, in my opinion, that's way too far.
It's way too far. Way too far. And this will change the closer we come in here. And I expect that's going to change. Your next 4 picks are all just fluke. This is a fluke where it's falling into your lap. You're like, no. Embiid quickly, who was like a 5th or 6th round guy last year. The beginning of the 10th, you're like, he was injured last year.
He didn't have the greatest year, Toronto, but again, there's upside. He should start for them. Should have a good prominent role. And again, you got to get these guards early and often. There just aren't that many of them. They go like that. So you can't wait around on them. And then, we talked about it with DeAndre Ayton. I'm not a huge fan of him personally, but we know the talent's there. Obviously, the Lakers wanted to get him. They prioritized him. We all assume that he'll start. And as long as he's healthy, he'll put up value. And this late in the draft, if he gets hurt the first day of the season, I mean, that would suck. But, I mean, it is what it is. You just cut him and you move on this stage of the draft. So I was happy.
And that's the same thing like you did with Ace Bailey. Like, he might be buried on the Utah depth chart. But again, you give it a go. You say, especially with him and Demon, your last two picks after Drew Holiday. Like, Drew Holiday's safe as houses around then. He'll get some run in Portland, or he'll be shipped off and he'll go to the championship team where he returns value and does Drew things. You can expect him to be dependable despite the fall off and regression slightly from last year compared to the year previously. But your last two picks are these rookie flyers, finishing off with them at the turn with Bailey and Demon. And you see where they go. They get minutes, great. They perform for you, great. If not, you can move on. And that's exactly what I did a little bit early on Edgecombe. I actually went like a veteran draft instead, because the last two guys with the starting minute spots I can see here is Sexton and Russell. And I'll go from back to front, because you said you can't pass up Russell there. You can't pass up Sexton here. My last
two picks, Brandon Ingram went undrafted. He's a guy that I was looking at too. I had a really hard time not taking him with my final pick, just because, again, we know the injury risk and everything, but we also know that when he's healthy, his per game value is going to shatter this spot in the draft. So
exactly. And the pre-draft rankings right now, this is where you need to do your homework. And so right now I'm penciling these guys in. I'm penciling guys like Brandon Ingram. Okay, he went undrafted. Buzelis, Naismith, Levert, you can see on my board. Nemhard, Aaron Gordon, undrafted. All guys we mentioned. Kevin Porter Jr., possibly starting. Alonzo Ball, Wendell Carter Jr. These are guys who we know who can get minutes. DiVincenzo last year. I love him late. Cole Anthony. Zach Edey, because of the injury to start the beginning of the season. We know that there are these guys that exist on our draft board. So where we can't fall in love with being like, oh, I can get him late. No, I can get him late. Because if you leave that in your preparation for your draft too late, you aren't going to be getting those guys. You need to make sure that you stay in tap and in tune with your ADP values and like do a mock. Guys like Paul George, Lowry Market, and fall into the 10th and 11th round. I'm laughing, rubbing my hands together. Greedy boy right there.
Don't get too comfortable. This ain't going to happen again.
I'm happy today. I would never be this happy with those picks again. Cam Johnson in the 9th.
We're drafting in July, so
it's drafting in July. It's Fantasy Sicko. Drafting in July should be the T-shirt that I walk around with for the rest. It's almost August. I'll be drafted in August at this point in time. KP, I love that. Another falling player, Mikal Bridges, about even. Again, probably the ceiling, probably where it's at. Especially
I think that's a perfect spot for him. He's going to play. He's going to get a lot of minutes, and like you said, the versatility. He can play multiple positions.
Exactly. The versatility is what I really needed, because especially when I pigeonhole my point guard spot is so deep with what I needed. I got Shai, I got Don Mitchell, I got Ja Morant, and then I've just capped off with a couple of those other guard handcuffs right there who I can move early in the season and try and package and get some more forward depth. But again, I've got a lot of forward depth who can shoot, get points, get rebounds, and help contribute to there, and keep my percentages really competitive across my league with Franz Wagner, Jarrett Allen. I went the triple stack of Cavs to start the season. Shout out Skitty. I went Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, and my second round pick there was Donnie Mitchell. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was my pickings. They were my pickings, and I was really, really happy to do that. Saint, my boy Steve, tell everybody where they can find you at, please, and thank you.
Thank you so much, man. You can find me at podcast_Pierre on X, at Menace Podmen. That's the name of my podcast, which again, you were just on with me. Got to get that published, but look for that. It'll be out there soon. And thank you so much, man. Congratulations to you and everything that you've accomplished here, not only recently, but throughout your fantasy career, so to speak. And man, this was awesome. And for us sickos, this is an opportunity to have fun, do a mock draft, and like you said, see where guys are going, see where guys aren't going, and see where these rankings have these players so that you can get an early jump on these guys. And it's fun, man. It's always a good time.
And just like Biggie said, if you don't know, and now you know. And if you want to know where to draft, who to draft, what position to draft them from, pump builds, category specialist, statistical scarcity, I got it all for you right here on Believe. Check out the playlist. Check out the content. You can find me at NBA G Wiz. Check out the Instagram as well. Add it. Give me a follow. We got some cool art stuff going on at NBA G Wiz. This is Believe Fantasy. This has been the summer of Shai Bill. Check the playlist.